it going, everyone? It's Ben Falcon's Media Corner back again with a brand new video for today. Welcome back to another movie review, aka After I Saw. This time for this new episode for this series is going to be my review on the 2023 animated musical fantasy film. And this is the newest animated film to be released by one of my favorite animation studios of all time, which is of course Disney. And as you guys can tell from the title of this video, of course I'm here to review Wish. Now, Wish is the newest animated film to be released by Walt Disney Animation Studios, and this is directed by both Chris Buck and Fawn Veerasunthorn, in which for Fawn Veerasunthorn, this is her directorial debut, and for Chris Buck, he has directed a few films before, in which he has directed Tarzan, Surf's Up, Frozen, and Frozen 2. And for both of these directors, they've made the story for this film alongside with Jennifer Lee and Alison Moore, in which for both Jennifer Lee and Alison Moore, they wrote the script for this movie. And the story of this film is that we follow this girl named Asha, voiced by Ariana DeBose, in which she's a 17-year-old girl, and she lives in this kingdom known as Rosas, where she lives with her mother and grandfather. And in this kingdom, people make wishes, in which for their wishes, they're held by this man, whom he's a sorcerer, and he's also the king of the kingdom of Rosas, and he's known as King Magnifico, in which in the film he's voiced by Chris Pine, in which what he does with people's wishes is that he takes care of them, and he does actually make some of the people's wishes do come true. However, behind the scenes of what he's actually doing is that he's actually doing something evil to some of the people's wishes and all that. Once Asher discovers what he's actually doing behind the scenes with some of the people's wishes and all that, and what ends up happening later on in the movie is that she makes a plea to the stars, in which what ends up happening is that a cosmic force comes down from the sky, which it turns out to be a little ball of boundless energy, in which Asher calls it Star. And what ends up happening is that both Star and Asher, they have to team up together to try and stop King Magnifico's evil plans and what he wants to do with people's wishes and all of that. So that's pretty much the story of Wish. Now, for this year for Disney here, this is such a big year for themselves here, because they have just turned 100 years old, and they are celebrating their anniversary here. And for what they've done throughout this year here is that they released a whole lot of stuff here. Like, they released a few movies, such as like animated films, as well as a few live action films. And they even released a special on Disney Plus known as Once Upon a Studio, which is basically a show where it involves all the characters that we all know and love from the past few animated films from Disney, and even some from the most recent ones as well here and all of that. And as for Disney themselves, you know, they have been so incredible throughout the century for what they've released every single year and all that. However, in the most recent years for Disney, they haven't had like the best track records or anything like that. And well, there have been a few like handful of Disney stuff that managed to not disappoint me. Like, I really loved Soul, as well as Turning Red and Encanto, and as well as a few other animated films and all that. However, there have been a few animated films that didn't really meet my expectations, though, of being like the next new animated classics or anything like that. I still enjoy them, but I wanted to love them as much more than I expected and all that. Like, we've had Lightyear from last year, as well as this year's Elemental, which I did enjoy both of those films, but they didn't really meet my expectations of being like the next new animated classics from Pixar and all that. And they didn't really do well at the box office, but I still enjoy them nonetheless, though. And as for like the last animated film that we got from Walt Disney Animation, which was Strange World, I did enjoy it, but I was a bit disappointed with it, because I wanted to like that film a lot more than I expected. But I didn't not have a terrible time with the film. I still enjoyed it, even though I had a few problems with that film and all that. And you know, that film didn't really do well at the box office and stuff like that. And so when I heard we were getting a new animated film from Disney, which is this film, of course, I was really excited for it, because I was really excited to see what this one was going for here in terms of its animation style here, because it is a bit different than the last few animated films from Disney, in which they've used like modern CGI. And well, this film does have that, but it also has like hand-drawn animation here and all that, which I was really excited to see all that here with this new film here. And I was surprised with the voice work in the film here, in which you've got Ariana DeBose, Chris Pine, and Alan Tudyk, and many other voice actors who I was very familiar with and all that. And this film came out on the 24th of November of this year, and I didn't see an opening day, but I saw this the day after it came out, which I saw this on the 25th of November, and I saw this on my job for free in a really big screening, and it was completely sold out. And I still have my ticket for the movie, which I do have it right here. And after watching this whole movie here, unfortunately, this film did not really meet my expectations at all, really, here, because I was also disappointed with this film as well here. But I did not hate this film here. I thought this film was just overall a decent watch here. The things that I did like in Wish was the animation, in which I thought the animation here for this movie was really dazzling and yeah, really beautiful to look at in terms of the way it's made here, because it has a mixture of modern CGI and hand-drawn animation, in which I thought all that here was really terrific here in terms of its visuals and the character models and the character designs and all that. And as for the characters themselves, they are pretty likable here and yeah, pretty fun and all that. Like you've got like Asha, King Magnifico, Valentino, and Star, which I did like these characters, but I wouldn't say these characters are like super memorable or anything like that, but they are still pretty likable here for the most part here. And as for the voice work in the film, I thought everyone for the most part were pretty good and yeah, pretty fun for the most part here. Like you've got Ariana DeBose as Asha. I thought she was very good in the film here, and there are moments where she does sing in the film here, in which when it came to those moments in the film here, I thought she was absolutely amazing for those moments because she has a beautiful singing voice here. And as for the songs in the film, I really enjoy the songs here, although I wouldn't say these songs are like absolutely timeless or anything like that, but they are still pretty fun, yeah, pretty good here in the film here. And yeah, as for everyone else who in the film here, in which you've got like Chris Pine as the villain, King Magnifico, he was pretty good and yeah, pretty intimidating as the villain. And you've got Alan Tudyk as Valentino, whom he's this talking girl. He was pretty funny in the film, and he does tend to steal a few scenes here and there in the film, as well as with this other character named Star, in which this character doesn't talk at all here, but I really adored that character. I thought this character was really cute and yeah, really lovable throughout the entire film here. And as for all the other actors who were in the film here, they did a pretty good, solid job for their voice work in the film here. And as for the concept, it is pretty unique and all that, but it's story-wise, I felt was the biggest problem with this film here, because the story for this film just kind of felt less structured here, because it tries to have some originality to it, while it just have the traditional Disney cliches and all that. And while this one does tend to sprinkle in some like Disney Easter eggs and all that, which when it came to those moments, I thought there were a few of the Easter eggs in the film that I thought were pretty surprising here, but there were a few that I just felt like didn't have like a whole purpose to be in this film here and all that, which this film just kind of relies a whole lot of that throughout the entire film here, and it just kind of made the main story of this film here just less focused on and all that, and I did find that pretty disappointing here and all that. But overall, in the end, guys, Wish, I thought this was overall a decent Disney film here. It certainly isn't like the next new Disney classic or anything like that. It's definitely one of Disney's weakest films here. But if you're a fan of Disney animation themselves here, or you're a fan of like the cast or anything like that, or like if you're a fan of like Disney musicals or anything like that, this may be a good popcorn treat for yourselves. Yeah, and I can definitely say as well, this will definitely be a good one for the kids. Yes, because when I went back to work, I had a lot of kids seeing this film on my job and all that, and I just saw a few of them having a really good time with this movie and all that. So that's pretty much all to say about Wish. Yeah, I'm gonna give Wish 3 out of 5. Like I said, I thought this was just overall a decent Disney film here. It certainly isn't like the next new Disney animated classic or anything like that. This is just overall another one of Disney's weakest animated films here and all that. And well, there still are a few things I did find myself enjoying with this film here, but for everything else that was surrounding this whole film here, it did leave me a bit disappointed here, and I just kind of wish it could have been a whole lot more better than I expected here. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching for my AK After I Saw review on Wish, and let me know what you think of this movie if you have seen this already, or if you just recently checked out this film. Did you have a really good time with this, or you're very disappointed with this? As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and this has been Foggins Media Corner signing off.